There's a question that grips every survival-minded historian at some point. How on earth did Ice Age humans, our ancestors, manage to sleep through nights when temperatures plummeted to levels that could freeze exposed skin in minutes? They had no down sleeping bags, no insulated tents, no electricity. Yet somehow they didn't just survive, they thrived. They hunted, they raised families, and they endured winters that would break most modern people. Their survival wasn't luck, it was knowledge. And that knowledge was refined over tens of thousands of years of trial, error, and adaptation. Today, we're breaking down exactly how Ice Age humans slept, stayed warm, and built entire survival systems around one simple truth. Warmth wasn't something they found, it was something they created. Survival began with mastering the ground, not the air. When people today think of warmth, they reach for jackets and blankets. But for Ice Age humans, the battle started below the body. The earth itself was the biggest heat thief. Sleeping directly on frozen ground meant conduction, the process where your body heat gets pulled straight into the soil. Archaeological evidence from Upper Paleolithic sites across Europe and Siberia shows that early humans understood this deeply. They built sleeping platforms layered with insulating material, thick piles of dried grasses, animal skins, and moss. These layers acted as primitive insulation pads, trapping warm air and preventing the cold ground from leaching away vital body heat. In places like the Metabolic site in Ukraine, where mammoth bone shelters have been excavated, researchers found remnants of grass bedding beneath hides, showing that Ice Age people were meticulous about how and where they rested. In practical modern terms, this is still one of the most effective cold survival techniques: insulate from below first. A modern camper can use pine boughs, leaves, or even spare clothing to create the same barrier. It's not about luxury, it's physics. Heat always moves toward cold, and our ancestors made sure it never escaped into the ground. Another major factor in Ice Age sleeping survival was shelter design. These weren't open campsites. Evidence shows that Ice Age shelters were compact, insulated, and low to the ground, trapping body heat and reducing airflow. The mammoth bone huts of Eastern Europe were lined with hides and sealed with soil and snow to prevent drafts. In colder Siberian and Northern European climates, humans dug semi-subterranean dwellings, using the earth as insulation. This principle is still used by Arctic and mountain survivalists today. Smaller shelters are warmer. It's counterintuitive, but reducing space means less air to heat. Inside these Ice Age shelters, multiple people often slept together, forming what anthropologists call heat communities. Their combined body heat could raise the ambient temperature of a small shelter enough to make it survivable, even in extreme cold. For anyone studying or practicing cold weather survival today, this principle remains gold. If you ever find yourself in freezing conditions, build tight, enclosed shelters. Avoid standing-height tents with open gaps. Even a simple snow cave, properly sealed, can be 20 to 30 degrees warmer inside than the outside air. That difference meant life or death for our ancestors, and still does for those who depend on natural shelter. Forget synthetic materials. Ice Age humans use biology's best invention, fur. Animal hides were more than just clothing. They were insulation systems layered strategically to maximize heat retention. Archaeological and ethnographic parallels from later Arctic peoples show that hides were chosen for specific properties. Reindeer and caribou skins, for example, have hollow hairs that trap air, creating exceptional insulation. These hides were layered much like our modern sleeping bags. The fur side facing inward toward the body, the leather side outward to block wind and moisture. In coldest conditions, Ice Age sleepers likely wrapped themselves in multiple layers, fur on fur, using smaller pelts as internal liners. They also preheated hides by sitting on them near fires before bedding down, ensuring that initial warmth lasted through the first crucial hours of sleep. Modern survivalists can use a simplified version of this method. Keep an insulating layer close to the skin and a moisture barrier on the outside. If you have limited materials, always prioritize what's beneath and behind you, where heat loss is fastest. Fire wasn't just for cooking, it was a precision survival tool. Ice Age humans learned how to use fire to create what anthropologists call thermal microzones, areas of radiating heat carefully controlled by stone reflectors, pits and vents. Excavations of Paleolithic campsites show that hearths were often placed not in the centre but slightly offset, with reflective walls built behind them to direct heat towards sleeping areas. This method allowed warmth to spread without filling the shelter with smoke. Charred bone fragments indicate that animal fat was used to extend burn time, functioning much like oil lamps. Some groups even kept embers alive by burying them under ash at night, ensuring that fire could be restarted in the morning without wasting effort or fuel. For modern outdoor enthusiasts or preppers, this concept is still applicable. Build your fire near a natural reflector, a log, rock or snow wall, and always manage airflow to prevent smoke build-up. A small, well-placed fire does more for survival than a roaring, wasteful blaze. You know, warmth isn't only external, it's metabolic. Ice Age humans survived because their diets were built for it. They ate high-fat, high-protein meals that provided long-term energy and internal heat production. When we metabolize fat, our bodies generate more sustained warmth, a fact modern science confirms. This internal fuel burn allowed Ice Age people to sleep through freezing temperatures without constant shivering. They also adapted their sleeping schedules to energy availability. Many groups practice segmented sleep, resting in shorter cycles and waking periodically to tend fires or adjust hides. This reduced long periods of inactivity when body temperature could drop dangerously low. A practical takeaway for anyone braving cold environments today is simple. Never go to bed hungry. A small fatty meal, nuts, meat or even butter, before rest can help maintain body heat. Hydration matters too. Dehydration slows metabolism and reduces circulation, both deadly in cold weather. Physical methods were vital, but you know, the mental aspect was just as important. Ice Age humans lived with cold as a constant, not as an intruder. They didn't panic or waste energy resisting it. Instead, they worked with it. They understood cold in a way that, honestly, few modern people do. As a predictable element, not some sort of crisis. That calm, well, it allowed them to make rational, energy-efficient decisions even under brutal conditions. This mindset is still central to cold survival today. You see, the moment panic sets in, your breathing and circulation change, and hypothermia can accelerate. Staying calm, focused, and deliberate isn't just psychological advice, it's physiological defense. Ice Age humans learned that lesson the hard way, and it's one we'd do well to remember. Their ancient lessons still hold the power to save lives today. When you strip away modern technology, the fundamentals of Ice Age survival remain the same. Insulate from the ground, minimize heat loss, master fire, fuel your body, and control your mind. Those early humans weren't just surviving the cold, they were mastering it through observation, adaptation, and respect for nature's rules. If you take anything from their example, let it be this. Comfort is a modern illusion, but survival is timeless knowledge. Learn the principles that sustained our ancestors, and you'll carry tools that no temperature can take from you. For more deep dives into forgotten human ingenuity and the ancient skills that built our world, subscribe to In the Beginning, share this video, and help keep history's survival wisdom alive.